Greetings, YouTube. I've been wrestling with anger issues my entire life. I was raised by an abusive drunk, and anger was always the go-to option for everything. Had a bad day, get angry. Um, Frustrated, get angry. Don't understand something, get angry. You see the point. It was the perfect tool. It was the hammer, and the whole world was a nail. And while I was raised to learn that and have it burned into my mind, I wasn't allowed to express it. I couldn't get angry around my father. And I most especially couldn't get as angry as I am capable in front of my father. So in the private moments of my life growing up, and as a young adult, and then a full-blown adult, there are moments when I have shown my rage, but I'm always alone. Because showing that rage as a child would have gotten me killed. So self-preservation said, don't do that. And so I never showed anybody my rage. And I've been working very, very hard to make those episodes farther apart and to be able to find a way of putting a stopgap in place before they begin. Before they escalate, I should say. Because there are times when anger is the appropriate response. As Anansi says in American Gods, anger works. Anger gets shit done. And if you're discussing things like the GOP or 4th edition D&D, anger is the appropriate response. But rage is never an answer. And so in trying to frame how I was going to discuss this with my therapist, because I had had a rather unpleasant episode of rage, ironically the day after I saw him in September, I was telling, well, I could describe it as, the kind of the berserker fury, which is an appropriate description. It really does kind of nail it. But if you don't know what the berserker fury is, it's not like you're one of your cultural touchstones. It's a little difficult, to grasp that. Then I could describe it as kind of like being turned into a werewolf, which is a metaphor I've kind of been kicking around in my head all since I was a child. That when my rage comes on me, that's kind of what happens. I get replaced by something else, something ugly, dangerous, something I don't like. But then while framing the conversation, making sure I would have in my head kind of what I wanted to say in this session, it's a lot like practicing for making a video here on my channel. It suddenly occurred to me that when I get enraged, I'm not a berserker. I'm not a werewolf. I'm my father. I turn into my father. The abusive drunk. The one who only has the hammer in his toolbox. And when I tackle difficult emotional issues, when I find myself in an emotional conundrum, one of my responses is a very particular type of headache. It only happens when I'm in some of emotional turmoil. And it's right here. And I can feel it starting. That didn't exist at the beginning of the filming of this video. Because my old patterns, my own thoughts, my old behaviors really don't want me talking about this in public. Which kind of sort of means I have to. And in the last session I had where I discussed this with my therapist and just talked about, the fact that, hey, I turned into Ed. He stopped at one point and he looked at me. And he and I have a very conversational, very friendly kind of a relationship in the sessions. And I don't know if I've ever seen him show such concern on his face, because he looked at me and he said, "Are you okay? Where are you right now?" Because I was in a very not happy place. And I can tell you right now, having this conversation, I'm not thrilled about it because I don't have an answer yet. I don't know what to do with this thing that I've discovered. But before I can heal, I gotta clean out the wound. And that's ugly. And that's where I am right now. I'm in the cleaning out the wound stage. I'm debriding my psyche. Thank you for listening about this, and I don't have a solution. I'm working on it, but right now I'm just tired. It's amazing how much effort it took just to make that revelation, just to see the problem for what it is. It's amazing how much effort and energy it took to pull off the blinders. Maybe other people would have pointed this out to me if they'd seen me enraged. But I don't know if I'd have any friends if they did. Because when it happens, it scares me. And I know if it scares me, it would terrify other people. So, thanks for listening. I'll keep you updated, I guess.